All right, we'll call finance to order here. Council. We'll start with, Mr. Coyne is on vacation this week. It's spring break week for his children, so he's out of town. So I will run the two meetings this evening, but we'll start with request for council action. We have 17048, project agreement with ODOT for the Champion Creek bicycle route. 17049, purchase 25 PCs MNJ Technologies for the IT department. 17-050, award contracts to EMH&T Engineers for the Guilford Boulevard Bridge. 17051, expenditure to SPCA for animal-related services. 17052, general liability insurance renewal for USI Insurance Services. And 17-053, airport liability insurance renewal, AJ Gallagher. We are going to, if it's okay with everybody, Mr. Huber has to go to another meeting here. So we're going to do 6 and 7 first. And since he needs to talk to us, and then we'll get him out of here. So, Mr. Huber, first one then would be 17052, the general liability insurance renewal.
We bid the liability insurance this year and asked interested insurers to apply for competitive pricing and to also see what, if any, improvements in coverages we need. The Crane Langner firm has helped us a great deal in setting up these bids and analyzing the information. And the successful recommendation is from Argonaut Insurance Company, which is the insurer we've had for the last 5 years. Their quote for general liability insurance is $131,380. It is roughly $13,000 down from last year's premium, which is good. That means their claims history is in a reasonable range as far as the insurance providers are concerned. We have a quote for airport liability insurance in the sum of $3,250. These two quotes were recommended to us by the Crane Langner Group, and so I would recommend that to you.
And Mr. Huber, I noticed the emergency clause has been requested on both of those.
That's correct. We generally renew these come April 1st, and so we're close to the deadline.
Okay. So you realize then they're on tonight's finance, but they're not on tonight's council. Is that going to be okay?
Yes, we'll have to.
Mayor?
I just wanted to point out too, I checked this late this afternoon, and the airport insurance dropped as well. Last year it was $36.49, and this year it's $32.50. So it dropped almost $400.
That's great for both insurances to go down. Keith?
Are you going to need it, Craig? Are you going to need a check on April 1st for this $131,000?
I can't remember.
I think we do, and the reason I'm asking is because if we do need a check on April 1st, which I think we do because that's when it starts, then I need it to go to council tonight because I can't write $130,000. What's that?
If she has enough time, she can maybe do.
Should be a lot of time in between.
John's not here, so we'll send him.
So Greg, sometimes don't you have 30 days from, I don't know.
You know, I can't remember if we had to have a check on April 1st. I know we've typically gotten them out by then, but off the top of my head, I can't recall.
Okay.
If we can get it done and take it to council today, and the council is satisfied with that, then I would say let's do it.
I would think we're pretty satisfied because it's
Talking about
cheaper.
saving money.
Yeah, it's a good thing. That doesn't always happen with insurance. So, well, we'll take the first one, the general liability, 17052. Any further discussion? I'll entertain.
Move to approve with the emergency clause?
Second with the emergency clause?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay, passes 6-0. And then the second one, airport liability insurance renewal. Any discussion there?
Move to approve with the emergency clause?
Second with the emergency clause?
All in favor with the emergency clause?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Okay, thank you, Mr. Huber. And Kathy will work to get those on tonight's agenda then.
Thank you.
Okay, we can go back up to the agenda here then. 17048, project agreement with ODOT for the Champion Creek bicycle route. Patrick?
Thank you. You may know we were awarded a contract, or a grant, I'm sorry, from NOACA to do an extension of the bicycle route there that ends at South Broadway. We are working with ODOT to get our plans completed. Because we are, it's going to be known as an LPA, a local project authority or local public agency, we have to come to an agreement with ODOT. We've signed these before for several projects, so it's nothing new, but basically it outlines the scope of the project and each party's responsibility. We are getting a $415,000 grant for this project. That's why ODOT is involved.
And I see, Patrick, that eventually the city share is about 130,000,
Correct, yeah.
but
Yeah, we'll request that when we're ready to come back to council to authorize bids, which we're going to be submitting our plans to ODOT here in the next 30 days or so. So hopefully it's not too long after that when we get approval and authorization to bid.
and from, what would be the timeline then after the bidding as far as start to finish of the project?
It's really not that timely of a project. There is a section of it that's an asphalt trail, this section on Broadway. That shouldn't take too long. The rest of it is a lot of pavement marking, signage, trees, and streetlights. Not a lot of really time-consuming work. So I wouldn't think it would take more than 45 to 60 days, I guess, depending on time of the year.
Mr. Rose?
Thank you. In the request here, there's, in the scope of work, installation of bioretention cells. What are bioretention cells?
That was one of the factors required by the grant. It's for rainwater, and what it is typically rainwater is collected in the street in a catch basin, and it goes directly into a sewer and then piped to a creek or stream. This will actually, that water before it gets to the sewer will go through a natural vegetated cell, different grasses and whatnot. It'll back it up a little bit. The idea is to let pollutants and sediments drop out before it goes back to the creek.
Thank you.
Mark, did you have a question?
That was one of them. The other, what are our plans for that section of East Smith for road improvement? Is there-
That is part of that's where the grants overlap. We're going to be constructing that because we need to construct it with the roadway project.
Okay.
That roadway project, we hope to be coming to you here shortly to get authorization to bid that.
So when it's all said and done, the road will be redone, and we're gonna have this nice route connection.
Correct, yeah.
And if my memory serves me correct, Pat, we're actually going all the way to Jefferson, right?
With that project, yeah.
Yeah.
The
So both
trail,
of those
however,
two
just
blocks.
is that one block from Broadway to Court, is the trail. But the road project goes 2 blocks all the way to
Sure.
Jefferson.
And we're also working with an engineering firm then to try to apply to NOACA, or that we're working with, the fellow that used to be with District 3.
Oh, Albion?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have submitted, council authorized us to submit us a grant to NOACA for that last phase of Smith, from State Road to Court.
Which will then be from where we stop at Standard Welding all the way to Court, which will then give us from Jefferson to the city limits. We just got approval for a grant to do from Lake Road to Commerce. We're looking what it would take with a little bit more local dollars to go all the way to the city limits, instead of having blacktop out there to make that concrete with curbs and improve the radius of Commerce, because now the trucks are using that pretty regular to cut over to 18 instead of using Smith, that they don't have to stop the business.
So there's gonna be a bike route out there, is that what you're?
No. Right now it's asphalt, so we're gonna do it concrete curbs and improve the radius on the Commerce so the trucks go back.
Oh, okay.
Any other question?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign? Passes. Thank you, Patrick. Purchase 25 replacement PCs, the IT department. Darren?
Hi, this is part of our continued replacement cycle. We're a little over 100 PCs citywide, so we did 25 last year. We're trying to put these PCs on a 4 to 5 year cycle, if I can stretch them out. They seem to be lasting longer. This is basically the state bid pricing on Dells. I did take the opportunity, and I do that every couple of times when we buy these, and I check with HP. Hewlett Packard obviously orders PCs, so I thought I would price out their state bid to compare apples to apples. And there are very few dollars between the two comparisons. I didn't bring that quote, but my thought process was it wasn't enough at this point to make a change from what we are as a Dell shop, because I can piecemeal when I break. I can steal parts from others and round. So we're going to continue on with Dell chassis, as they seem to be still the best solution for us.
Questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 17050, award contract to EMH&T Engineers for the Guilford Boulevard Bridge. Patrick?
Thank you. Previously, we did apply for and were granted a grant, as you know, to replace the bridge at Guilford Boulevard. Further, council then authorized us to do a qualification-based selection process for the consultant. We completed that process, and I'm bringing a proposal to you from EMH&T Engineers. We found them to be the most qualified. We've met with them and ODOT, and ODOT is very satisfied with them. And actually have already kicked off the scope and went out for the project. So we're recommending that we enter into this agreement. You might see in the request, I asked for $156,688. The first page of the agreement, or the cover letter, there's another $11,441 that are if authorized services, and I'm not requesting at this point. I don't think we're gonna need them, but just to bring it to your attention, if we do, and if we do, it's because ODOT's gonna make us do it. I'll have to come back to you.
Saving money again. Good night.
And this grant is paying for 95% of the cost, so most of this gets reimbursed.
And timing-wise, we're going to work it out that it's not the first week of school, right?
Correct.
Guilford.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any questions? Mark?
Pat, what kind of communication are we going to do with the neighborhood and that part of the community when?
Actually, that was a big point of discussion when we were selecting the consultant and going over the scope. Obviously, there'll be a lot of PR going. But one of the things we're looking at, we've had experience shutting that section of Guilford down in the past when we've done the replacement projects. Of course, it's not good. One of the things we're considering is putting a temporary traffic signal on 57. I'm not sure what cross street would be the best, but to accommodate, just probably a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours in the afternoon, to accommodate people, give them another way out. The folks trying to take a left out of the neighborhood onto 57 at that time in the morning when they can't use Guilford would choke traffic. So looking at that kind of stuff to make it a little easier.
Okay.
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Go ahead.
And what month are we looking at possibly?
We would look to start in June.
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of the, we've talked to a bunch of contractors. It's really no way of getting around like a 45-day closure. It is what it is. So we would mandate in the contract documents, you have June and July or something like that.
That 11,000, if authorized services, will that also be covered by the grant?
That would be, yeah. There's a cap to the grant, so it kind of depends on how much the construction cost comes in. But up to the cap, which I think is $605,000, 95% of those costs are covered. There is one bit of, we do have to go one right away. West side of Guilford, of course, belongs to the McKee family. We do need to acquire some right away there, whether it's an easement or actually purchasing something around there. We don't have anything now, so we're going to have to get that just so.
Any other questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. And finally, the last issue is 17051, expenditure to SPCA animal-related services. And this was submitted by Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. Hub and I have been meeting on a somewhat regular basis, going over the numbers for the SPCA. I have to say that from the first time I met till this most recent time, they've done an excellent job in controlling their costs and getting things in order and moving in the right direction. So hats off to you. Thank you. Their new facility that they have out there on Guilford Road?
Guilford Township.
In Guilford
It's
Township.
on Paradise.
Paradise,
I'm
no.
sorry. No, Guilford.
Guilford Road,
Guilford
okay.
Road, south of Lake.
It's a very nice facility.
I know
They've
where
done
it
an
is.
excellent
I
job. And so they are before us again for their annual donation. And just the number of animals associated with the city went from around 240-ish to about 180-ish for us this year. So is it fewer animals or location?
No, I
Don't
think
know.
overall, we've seen a drop across the county
Oh, we have,
in
okay.
animals. So I don't know if neutering cats helps or, what it is, because obviously cats are the biggest number.
Mhm.
But it's definitely, we saw a drop this year.
Okay, very good. And so last year, we donated $8,452. I'm recommending this year that we give them a little bump up, and we give them about $8,500 this year as our donation for the work that they do. And anybody has anything that they'd like to discuss on that?
I'd just like to comment, I mean, we appreciate the services. You're getting a lot of service for the amount that we're contributing to you, and I think like we've all said, that just show us what you're doing in our community, and we're willing to compensate you for it, because it's a great service, great people to work with, and I did go out and tour the facility. It's a great facility for you guys and for the animals, so thanks again.
And I add too, we get a lot for that amount of money. I appreciate the communication and working so well with the city on this every year now, so.
We get a lot of cooperation from you people also. I mean, the police department is just excellent as far as, working with our people, and when they need somebody out there, we're there, hopefully. So, I mean, it's, a lot of those cases, it's never pleasant. And when there's an eviction or there's something like that, it's just, it's a hard thing to deal with people that are upset about things, so, but we do appreciate everything that you've done for us also, so. And it's, the new facility has gone well, and we're out in the country, so the barking dogs don't, bother people around, but again, I think over the last few years, we've done a great job, and Tom Jenkins, beside me here, is our new president, and he's in the construction business, and he's really helped us, get the facility out there and make a lot of changes that needed to be made with the new driveway and some changes to the where the kennel is, and just it's gone very well, and I think our people. Our working people have felt a lot better about the facility that they go into every day. So when you have happy employees, things go better also. So I think we're on the right road right now. So thank you very much for the consideration.
And I'd just like to chime in with my colleagues. Such an asset to our county, but to our community also, and I thank you for the wonderful job that you do.
Thank you.
Joanne?
I think Brian.
No.
Move to approve?
Second?
Did you have something to say?
Oh, I thought you said you had nothing to say, I'm sorry.
I could be quiet. No, and I really appreciate the work Paul's done too, because I think when when we had issues before, we had questions before, it was harder to work them out, but I think since Paul really got engaged, and we have a really open channel of communication, it's made it, speaking on communications,
More communication.
it's made it a lot easier, I think, for us to justify the expense, knowing full well, as everybody said, that we are getting an awful lot, for our money. And I had the opportunity to go out to the facility and hadn't seen it when I picked up my new dog, Jerry. And And I was taken aback. I mean, what a great place. You know, and you can tell, Tom, you know, you've really done a lot of work there. So,
Thank you.
great place for the dogs and the cats as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your support
Yeah.
very much.
Have a motion for $8,500.
For $8,500.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Okay. Any other business for finance? And we are adjourned.